So our next step is to create this element. So there is another detail of this. Let me open that. You can see here in this image, this is like a more detailed version of that particular element. This will give you a good understanding how to develop this surface. So you can see they have given the skeleton inside, like this is the lines which are giving the base to your. So these are the internal lines based on which we can form these surfaces. So we will use the same thing. We will use the same pattern and evolve our surface. First, I will divide this box into half. So again, I will use polyline. Take the midpoint. Make sure your midpoint is on in your O snap on the bottom, and make sure your smart grid is also on, which guidelines which you see the gray color, this is coming because of the smart track, and also the point which you can see the gray point, these are also identified by the smart track. So it helps a lot during these kind of 2D work and even in 3D. So I will just join this, right click and get out of the command. Then now what you have to do, I will use curve, control point curve command. I will on my ortho. Why? You will see during the process why is it important. So I will on my ortho, and then I will take the midpoint of this and I will start making points, start giving points with curves. First point I will make at 4 inches, space bar or click also will do. The second point will go around 11 inches, or you can click here and then 11 inches, click again, right? And then third point will directly hit the mid, which is around 2 feet 9 inch. So I will click here again, and then next point I will mirror this thing. But remember, you don't have to mirror. You have to continuously draw these points to get that the curve which I'm looking for. You will see what I'm talking about. Let me finish this. So 2 feet 9 inch, enter, and then 11 inch as we did previously, 11 inch, right? And then in the end I will finish this. So overall my curve is done. To get that profile which we have seen, the top roof profile, I will select this curve. This is actually curve, not a polyline. Please make sure you do it with the curve and keep your ortho on. Again I am repeating. I will use this midpoint. You select the curve and you will see a midpoint here, this one. You select that midpoint only and use this gumball, use the green arrow and start moving your gumball right towards green axis. You can see how beautifully this is taking shape, right? And then I will not touch it exactly at the corner. I will leave some space for the wooden member which we have discussed. That wooden member also has some thickness. I'm talking about these wooden members. So they have this height which is around 1 feet 3 inch, and this thickness is also there around 1.5 maybe 2 inch. So for that we have to leave some space here. That's what I'm doing. So one side is done. What I will do, I will select this and I will use mirror command, give the starting point of mirror plane. This is my starting point, and I will copy, I will say the copy to yes, and I will end the mirror plane, right? So we have got this profile. Now the time is to offset it to get the thickness to this wooden member. We are actually creating the housing space for that particular, for this particular membrane. So these wooden members are the housing space. So first we will create these housing spaces and then we will create the top portion of this. Let's bring the offset command. You can directly type. This is actually once you are used to the different commands, you don't have to look here and there. You know where your commands are. You can directly type the commands which you use very often. Some of the commands are definitely, some tools which are more handy. You can keep it closer also, as I have shown in the previous. You can tier any command like this and bring it here in the corner, right? And can use it if you are doing certain kind of modeling where certain set of commands are vigorously used. So instead of typing and all, you can directly bring those particular things at your disposal, or you can drag these things here also at this corner, keep a list here and start using it. Space bar and then select the curve. This is our curve definitely which I want to offset. Now you will see it is giving me a fixed distance, the offset command. There are so many ways to offset. First is the distance. So if you know exact the distance which you want to offset, you can directly type it. Or first, what's the distance? So we don't want to do through distance. Already some distance has been by default is there. Because it is going out of this box, we don't want it. So the best is through point. It gives us the flexibility to offset your object based on your requirement, right? If you don't know the distance and all, using certain reference point, so through point. So currently this is more suitable under offset command. So I will use a through point and I will give my point. Straight away it will offset. Same way, now I will mirror this quickly. Select spacebar, starting the mirror plane and copying, getting the mirror object. Now you see our thickness to the wooden member, we have got that, and the moment we will join these, we will repeat these throughout that particular surface, you will see we will also be able to achieve the continuity distance, the overlap distance, this distance which we are talking about. So this also we will get when we will join two elements throughout the width and throughout the length. But for now, our wooden member is done. So next step is to create the top profile. I'm talking about these profiles, right? You can see these are the wooden casing for these profiles, and these are the rubber coverings, like a sealant, or so that to avoid rain and other elements coming inside. This is like a sealing of these elements on the top of wooden members. So these are the elements which we are going to design. You can see straight away it is showing us the skeleton of this particular form. This is the skeleton which we need to achieve, and then we will create forms on top of it. Easy, right? Let's do that. First, I will make a copy of this, using the copy command, CO, giving any point here and moving towards this direction. In this, I only want the inner profile, right? Because my roof, that covering will house on this inner profile, not outside. That is the thickness of the wood. So rest of the things I will select. I don't need this box now. I don't need this profile. I don't need this. Next, what we have to do is let's go to perspective. We need to create those skeleton members. So first thing what I will do is I will create that top profile, right? So for that, very simple, I will just select this edge and I will use rotate command. You can find the rotate command here, rotate 2D and 3D. Currently I am going to use rotate 3D. So I will right click the mouse and it will ask me to start from the rotation axis. So my rotation axis is this side because I want to rotate this L on towards top. So I will give the axis, and then around this 360 degrees I can rotate anytime. Now make sure your ortho is off here so that it gives you all directions. Then I want to rotate this object and make sure your copy is yes, so that the original doesn't get disturbed. Then I will select left click and I will move my object to 90 degrees, space bar, sorry, yes, 270 degrees here in this case. Next, again I will repeat the rotate command, rotate 3D command, give the axis and then copy it this time to 45 degrees, minus 45, let's say it is going down. So I will copy it to minus 45, right? Again, now I will select this side, repeat the rotate 3D command, axis, and this time I will give to 45, right? So you can see we have matched almost skeleton which we saw in the image. See, you can see the elements, they are coming along like this. We have matched that 1, 2, 3, one at the center and then 2 at the angles. Now if you look closely in this sides, the end points, they are not exactly merging ending like this as we have in our image, right? They're not ending like this. So they are like cut from here, right? Similarly, they're not merging like this at one single point. There is a cut, they're ending here because we have to get a profile something like this, right? Instead of profile like this, we have to get a profile like this, to get something like this, and then uh, some merging at the corners. So we will cut this portion from both the sides. Let's see how can we do that. So for that, I will go to the top view and polyline command, take the endpoint, move around, let's say 1 feet I will take, just random, you know, and then make it on both the sides, use the ortho, and either you can mirror this or you can create a new one from the midpoint. I will mirror it, right? And then I will use trim command to chop off the edges. Cutting objects are these, and the things which I am chopping are these. Everything gone. Let's go back to perspective. Yes, you can see now we have got this profile at the corners. So next step will be to give some surfaces to these lines.